Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the evolution of software testing. We all know that software testing, which we define today, has been a series of many phases and a sequence of many steps. There are basically 6 main phases or steps in the evolution of software testing. And the first phase is called the debugging oriented phase, which is started right before 1957. So this is called the early period of testing or the first phase of testing. It is basically performed by the programmers, which means that when programmers write the code for their software or program for the software, they test it by themselves to make sure that the program is free of errors and running perfectly. These can be any kind of errors like logical errors or syntax errors. So the testing in debugging oriented phase is called checkout. Checkout means checking out all the errors in the software or the program and removing all the errors possible and making the software working perfectly. So in this process, there is no clear difference between what is software development, what is testing and what is debugging. In this phase, all the 3 steps are done together and there is no significance for each step separately. So here comes the second phase in the software testing, which is called the demonstration oriented phase, which is in the years between 1957 to 1978. So as the title suggests, demonstration oriented. In this phase, we just not only run the software and make it free of errors, but also we have to demonstrate the requirements which are mentioned in the SRS, like what the customers have needed in the software, and it should be available in the software which we have created. So here the term for the checkout has not changed and it is known as the absence of errors, or to show the absence of errors in the software. So here in this phase, we are not going to stress anything about the test case design. We are not going to design any kind of test cases. So it's just demonstration oriented phase. It means that we have to show the requirements mentioned in the SRS to be available on the software which we had made. So here comes the third phase in the software testing, which is called the destruction oriented phase, which is in between 1979 to 1982. This is the main phase in all the 6 phases, which is called the revolutionary turning point, where the definition of testing has changed from to show absence of errors, which is called checkout, to find more and more errors to make the software error free. So this definition was given by Myers, who changed this definition from finding, like testing is to show the absence of errors to testing is to find more and more errors. So here we are stressed on creating more and more test cases which are more valuable to find the test results. So the fourth phase in testing process is called the evaluation oriented phase. So the evaluation oriented phase is the fourth phase of the software testing. Here the bugs are identified at the earlier stage of the development. So when the bugs are identified at the earlier stage, right from the requirements collection, gathering, analysis and design as described in the waterfall model, it reduces the cost as the post implementation errors or implementation errors are being reduced when we find the bugs at an earlier stage of development. So here, as the 3 phases continues, like debugging oriented phase, demonstration oriented phase and destruction oriented phase, where the definition of testing has changed. In the evaluation oriented phase, we focus more on the quality of the software product. Hence, the quality of software product has been evaluated at every step of the software product development, which is the SDLC process. All the steps of SDLC evaluation for the quality of the software product has been done. So by National Bureau of Standards VV model, which is also called as verification and validation model, which is used to test the software and verify and validate the software at each and every step of the software development life cycle, is done to increase the software quality of the software product. So the fifth phase in software testing is called the prevention oriented phase, which is in between 1988 to 1995. In the previous phases, as we discussed, due to the early detection of bugs, we decrease the post-implementation errors and the implementation errors, which in turn reduces the cost. So here we can prevent bugs in the later implementation phases due to the early detection of bugs. This is also related to the same thing as we discussed in the earlier phase. So bugs can be prevented in other projects due to the experience from the current projects. When we detect bugs in the present project, we can use it for the experience in the next projects to prevent those bugs occurring again. So the prevention model, which is used in the prevention oriented phase, includes the test planning, test analysis and test design. So the last phase of this software testing is called the process oriented phase, which is followed from 1996 onwards. So here, instead of testing considering it as a single phase in the waterfall model or SDLC models, it is considered as a complete process which starts right from the requirements phase. So for measuring the testing process, we use TMM, which is called the testing maturity model. So for measuring the testing process or the process of testing, we use the TMM model. So here in this process oriented phase, we use quantification of various parameters which could decide the performance of a testing phase. Thank you.